what's up everyone? Today we have this old electric air compressor. Owner says that it doesn't turn on anymore and he doesn't know why. Then, looking at it, it's not normal. I asked him if he replaced it. He said yes. He originally took this one out. This is probably a better cord. I mean, that one, maybe not. Either way, this is the one it came with. So, inside here, there are a set of plates, and the plates very well could be stuck open, and when it's open, the electricity can't obviously continue through to the engine. So when the plates are closed, the electricity goes for the wall, into here, through the plates, into this cable, into the electric motor. Now, if they're stuck open, or they're corroded, or this is just improperly wired, any one of those is going to stop it. How it's supposed to work is all that works, and then after it gets to a certain PSI, which this is calibrated for, through here, I think, maybe it's through somewhere else, I think it's through the bottom, can't quite remember off the top of my head right now. Anyway, point being is, it will stop, it will push the plates up, disconnect it, and then once the pressure gets to a certain point, clamp shut again, and then it restarts. So what we're gonna do is we need to go ahead and open it up. Looks like there's a screw here, which is not all the way down, and I'll see what's going on. I'm gonna give you a good 10 to 15 seconds. I need more, pause it, but do you see what's wrong here? Gave you some Jeopardy music, except not, because I don't want YouTube to flag it, but do 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 do. That's an out part. Do do do. It's close enough. Hot, neutral, ground. This, however, is hot, neutral, ground. They're switched. So that's not usually how that's supposed to work. One is supposed to coincide with one, other one's supposed to coincide with the other. So I don't like this cable. It's actually a lot shorter than the one that came with it, so I'm going to take these off. That brings me to this one. We need to put new ends on these. This is pretty tore up. I think we can cut it all off, remove a little bit more so I have a little more working room. And then we're just going to have brand new, fresh copper ends. So, a couple things. We're going to need some new ends. Now, you can buy generic ends any place. The ones that you're supposed to use are like this little Y. Here's the problem. I don't have any of those. I do have these though. That will fit in there. It will fit through the hole in the screw. At least I hope it will. I guess we could always double check. Yeah, perfect. And it won't ever come out. It's not really how it's meant to work, but it will work. Now, another thing is there's two primary ways of attaching these to the cables, or through wires. Solder, that's probably best. It's more of a permanent connection. I'm not going to do that for two important reasons. One, I have a little crimper here. It does a pretty good job. And two, I don't have any solder. So that made my decision a lot quicker. Yeah, I'll need one for the ground too. Sometimes the ground is a little bit different, but no, this one is the same. So brand new, fresh copper. It's always a better idea. We'll just give it a twist or two. And full disclosure, I am in no way, shape, or form an electrician. There's probably something I'm doing wrong here, and I apologize. But if it works, then you can't say anything now, can you? I mean, I'm sure you could, but should you? There we go. got a little further in than I was hoping, but whatever. It's nice and secure. So I'm going to trim off a little bit of extra copper that's like chilling here, and it's just because I don't feel like having it around. And I'm going to do that to the other two cables, and then we'll install it. This next part's going to be a little boring, so I'm not going to really show a whole lot, but I'm going to go over the basics. White, black, white. White goes here, black goes there. It doesn't matter if you take this apart and you switch them, it doesn't really matter. Black can go here, white can go here. It doesn't matter. These are just supposed to be the same. There's really no complication if you switch it. Ground just goes to the case, pretty self-explanatory. But what you can't do is what we had, where white and black, black and white, or vice versa, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and put them on. There's not a whole lot of room, not going to see a whole lot anyway, and just me screwing it in. You know, the only hard part is when you take it out, you do have to remove this little compression plug. And once you take the wires out, I literally just snipped off the end of these, and the cable came right out. This little piece came right out. Put it around a new cable, shoved the cable through, shoved it in there, and now it's in. So pretty self-explanatory, but let's see if that cures our problem. I had set this lever off. It was originally on auto. There is a breaker. This is extension cord connected to a like a little wind-up. I forget what they're called, but it does have a breaker on it, 15 amps. Let's see. We're getting power. But nothing. I hear hum. So we might have some other problems. Let's see if there's any air in it. I don't think so. No. The gauges all read 0. So I'm going to jack this up. We're going to remove the power. And here's the problem. There's probably a capacitor on this, and the capacitor may be going out. Or the engine is, or the motor, excuse me. So I'm going to jack this up and we'll look at if there is a capacitor. I'm sure there is somewhere. Underneath this little cover should be a capacitor. Let's see how it's connected. Sort of screw. Yeah, there's one screw right there. I'm going to take that screw out. Now, when I do that, I'm going to be very careful. Capacitors hold a charge, and they can be quite dangerous if you discharge it on yourself. Don't do that. I'll explain how to discharge it properly. Okay, let's see here. Of course, this is going to be difficult to reach and see and everything. Yep. There it is right there. Can we take it out? It's one of those physically wired in ones. Let's try to take this out. I don't really like these because, like I said, you really should discharge them. I think it's like glued in. Yeah, there's like double-sided tape in there. I'm gonna work it out, excuse me. So being very careful, I'm gonna try to remove these wires. Kind of smells like burning in here, which is probably a good sign. These aren't the twist-off ones, apparently. There we go. Like I said, we want to be careful. We don't want to touch anything unless we know it's completely discharged. Yeah, of course. Okay, well, we're just gonna have to cut it. And get a pair of cutters with, let's see. I can't just try to open it up at all. Nah, it's not gonna work. I'm just gonna cut it. Okay, so to completely discharge it, you connect the two wires together. Okay, we should be set. Now, how we're going to test this is as follows. Grab a multimeter. On the side of every capacitor, there should be some ratings on it. So this is 110 microfarad plus or minus 5%, which is right there. 250 AC. It could be work on 50 or 60 hertz, so that's pretty standard. So we need to take a multimeter and we need to go to capacitance. Ideally, with this type, we would have like these little clips on it, but I don't have any clips for this multimeter, unfortunately. If I do, I don't know where they are. Okay, come on. We could do this. $111. Okay. And this is 110. The capacitor is actually fine. Unfortunately, I didn't get it all on film, but let me explain what I did. I obviously checked the capacitor, tested fine, well within the 5%. And then I went over here. There was a clip, which I don't know where it went, that was holding on a fan. The fan went like this. That should be important because, you know, airflow. But I couldn't spin this at all. So I got an adjustable wrench. There is a flat end on it. Got it nice and tight, and literally with almost no effort at all. Look at this. Set you down. Hopefully lighting's not going to be a hindrance with us today. But I could easily spin it with, I mean, technically this is my ring finger spinning it right now, and I could easily spin it. That's not exactly the easiest thing to spin with fingers that you're not usually spinning with. So I'm going to put everything back on. I'm going to reconnect the capacitor, and we're going to give this one a try. I have everything mostly put back together. I'm missing a screw, which I don't really know where it went, but it doesn't really matter. It just goes right here. It's not going to harm anything. Oh. Perfect. That's quiet. That's real quiet. It's not shaking around. It's building pressure. I don't really want it to build all the pressure, but it's building pressure. We're at 50 psi right now already. I don't know what it's set to, probably 120, 140. It doesn't really say a whole lot on it.